All my life, I've been fascinated by the deep sea. 200 meters down? Could not care less. 1,000 meters down? No. Deep in the sea, somewhere around 2,000 meters below sea level, the abyssal zone begins. The creatures that live there will never see the sunlight. The only light they can see is which they make of themselves, down there in the dark. That's where the monsters are. I always had an affinity for Lovecraftian creatures, your Cthulhu and your Azathoth, but in my heart, I knew they were fiction. No, the real monsters in the world are a squid larger than a building with a beak that could shatter a Humvee. Legions of shrimp grown to the size of small cars. Even in captivity, a goldfish will inevitably grow as large as its little bowl can support. So does every other fish in the sea. We can never really know how big they can truly get. We know more about the moon than we do about the ocean floor and the creatures that live there. That mystery, that's what drove me through my undergrad, through my graduation program, and eventually through my post-grade work in some of the foremost marine biology department in the Pacific before I ended up working with a well-known research institution based on Guam. All of this has led up to today's expedition. Today, I will finally see my Shah Nadu, the marine trench. It reaches almost 7 miles underwater straight down, over 11,000 meters. Somewhere in the bottom of that trench, there's an incredible beast of untold size, proportions, and beauty. Over the course of my career, I established myself as a stand-fast, trustworthy academic. No life beyond my work, but there's just let me focus on my goal. Months ago, I palmed the keys to the storeroom and the Emma, the department's ancient expeditionary boat. I made a copy and returned the keys the next day. If anyone noticed, they said nothing. Over the course of the next few months, supplies around the lab started to go missing. A wetsuit here, a rebreather there. No one would dare suspect the dedicated volunteering researcher. Maybe some poor research assistant caught hell. Not my problem. I stayed late tonight. Today, my colleague and I just need to wait for some result back, then I promise I'll get a good night's rest. They thought my nervous shake was from my caffeine habit. Really, I couldn't wait for them to leave. When the last man left, I waited 30 minutes, then grabbed my stash of instant goods and made for the Emma. You don't get through 10 years of work in marine biology without knowing your way around a boat, and I eased myself into the cold metal seat to the heavy pilot chair and maneuvered the Emma smoothly out into its dock and off of campus. I knew there would be no alarms and no reason to watch for me. Still, I turned every light into my small research vessel off until I was well out of sight of land. I had a journey of hundreds of miles ahead of me, and I knew I couldn't take any chance. I couldn't lose so much work. The boat was only 25 or so feet long. It wasn't built for a long journey like to cross unpredictable oceans, but I knew she had more than enough gas for one last voyage. By the time I reached the ping of my ship's navigation, the sun was beginning to peek out of the horizon to the east. I knew my department would realize Emma was missing, but I couldn't make myself care. Soon, they will also realize I hadn't made any substantial progress in half a year. I always did just enough, looked just busy enough, that no one would look twice, and who could question me? Now that I think of it, I don't know that I can remember a single one of their faces. None of that matters now. The only thing that does is where I am. I look down to the dark blue ocean. It lays in wait, aching to be seen, to be felt. The Mariana Trench has been calling me all my life, and now I can finally answer that call. I can hardly zip my swimsuit up. My hands are shaking so bad. And for my final trick, I wrenched the pilot chair free. With the length of a chain I stashed away, I tied it to my leg. I fitted my mask with a transmitter feeding my words directly into this document. Once the transmission ends, this will end up in the hands of someone I trust. That's you, I guess. And like that, my preparations are complete. My life's work, it's all happening now. With one final glance towards my sweet Emma and the sky behind her, I close my eyes. I hold the chair close and ease myself backwards into the deep. It's cold, but I don't mind. I think I can feel the pressure changing, welcoming me home. The embrace of my great old one. Down, down, down. I only wish that I could see more. I think that's my mask cracking. I feel it coming. Soon I will meet the ocean face to face. When the darkness rushes into me, we will become one. And I will grow larger than you will ever know. I will become another beautiful, beautiful monster. If you stop running, it will catch up to you. Don't doubt that for a second. Another thing, if you would happen to come in direct contact with me, end it right then and there. There is so much hope for you as there is for me. But I guess I could explain some things. About a year ago, I was on a ship with my family in the Pacifics. The plan was to go to Palmyra Island. Anyone who has read "And All Sea Will Tell" will know what I'm talking about. We got there. Oh dear Christ, we got there all right. We didn't want to spend much more than 2 or 3 days in the Palmyra. I think that I'm the only one who isn't there now a year later. Every one of their bodies is somewhere on the island, wherever it took them, screaming. Something was totally strange and amiss about this place, but we just figured it was just the island's past. It used to be a US military outpost during World War II, but age has taken its toll on now all but abandoned island that history had forgotten. The first to go was my father. By the first evening, he was acting paranoid beyond belief. Every little sound, whether it was a bird call or a rat scurrying across the floor or top deck, would set him off. I thought nothing of it. It had been a long journey. Then at one point, there was just a splash. Whatever. We all were thinking. It was just a dolphin in a lagoon or something. We could not have been more wrong. The screams were what really set us off. Then the crunch. We had found his body on the beach, practically torn up. My cousin vomited and my uncle had just stood there with the look of utter shock on his face. Having thought he had fallen overboard and the shark had gotten him, we gave him a proper sea burial. It was so sad, but shit happens. That evening we were all on the beach eating the dinner that we had caught. Suddenly, everything grew uneasy as a primal fear swept across all of us. We knew that we were being watched, and we somehow made a connection between whatever the fuck it was that was watching us and my father's death. We sure as hell knew that the sharks weren't watching us. Then I turned around to look at our stalker. A sudden blackness came over me. As I came to, Michael, my cousin, had been in a fetal position on the ground, rocking back and forth, and I tried to convince him to come back on the boat, and then hit me like a fucking tour bus punched me in the face. There had been 3 of us only minutes before. The sun didn't quite set, but the surrounding forest took on a darkness that seemed alive. Looking for my uncle, I found a pool of blood at the edge of the greenery, then a spine-chilling crack that seemed louder than any goddamn cannon. I sprinted on to meet back with Michael, and when I got back on the fire pit we had built, I got a sense that I was utterly alone. And believe it or fucking not, I was. Screaming, "Michael! Michael! Michael!" Between wheezes as I tried to catch my breath, I saw whatever was from the corner of my eye that had taken my father, uncle, and cousin sprinted off into the green, lush void of the forest. I realized there was no hope for them, and I won't lie saying that I tried to be a hero. The brutal truth is that, somehow alive or not, I had left them, and that's not something I'm proud of. Back on land, after a 1-week journey back to Frisco, I knew that I wasn't safe. It was when people I had met, made casual conversations with, or just bumped into on the street started turning up dead is when shit started to really hit the fan. I'm still on the run, and I'll stay that way, because the thing with the missing face, the empty eye sockets that radiate a disturbingly beautiful blue, the nose that's not there, and the mouth that only opens to show its thousands of teeth and a dozen row is after me. And it will get you if you don't get out of my way. I have no snippet of advice for you. If you are unlucky enough to come across my path, don't stop running. Here is a list of cities that I'll be in a short period of time: Boston, Warcrest, New York, Augusta, Fairfax, Hertford, Lyon, Richmond, Atlanta, Tampa, Miami, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Madison, St. Louis, New Orleans, Santa Fe, Phoenix, San Diego, Frisco, Los Angeles, Newport, Seattle, wherever I can get to if I'm still alive. P.S. Be thankful if I am the one to kill you.